What's something your kid did that brought you to tears? My daughter Willow has ADHD, and it shows. Since she was little, she'd bounce off walls, interrupt conversations, and come up with these massive ideas that made zero sense, like turning our garage into a hamster hotel, or convincing me to let her paint the bathroom ceiling purple because regular white is boring for thinking. I always said no because, honestly, most of her ideas would cost money we didn't have or destroy the house. When she was 10, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. Everything changed overnight. The house got quiet in this weird way. Suddenly, Willow's energy felt too much for everything. She'd ask if she could help make dinner, and I'd snap because I was exhausted from chemo. She'd want to show me some dance she made up, and I'd tell her to go to her room because my head hurt. I felt terrible, but I was barely keeping it together. Her dad was working extra shifts to cover my medical bills, so it was just me and her most days. I'd catch her staring at me sometimes, like she was trying to figure out what she did wrong. It broke my heart, but I didn't know how to fix it. One Tuesday morning, I found this mason jar on my nightstand with a note taped to it. In Willow's messy handwriting, it said, "Jar of yes for mom." Inside were tiny folded papers, maybe 100 of them. I opened one and it said, "Yes to letting me brush your hair." Another one said, "Yes to cereal for dinner." One said, "Yes to no talking unless it's hugs." She'd been writing them for weeks apparently. Tasks she could do, things that might help, ways to make my day easier. Some were simple like, "Yes to me doing dishes," or "Yes to me reading you a story." Others were random Willow things like, "Yes to making the house smell like cookies," or "Yes to building a blanket fort in your room." The first time I pulled out, "Yes to letting me make you lunch," she brought me a peanut butter sandwich cut into the shape of a heart, with goldfish crackers arranged around the plate like flowers. It was messy, and the sandwich was falling apart, but she was so proud. I cried right there at the kitchen table. She started saying, "Pick a yes," whenever I looked overwhelmed. Sometimes I'd pull out yes to a 10-minute hug when I was stressed about appointments, or yes to watching cartoons together when I felt too sick to do anything else. She even had ones for her worst ADHD days, like yes to me being loud for 5 minutes, or yes to my crazy dance moves. The jar wasn't magic. She still interrupted and got hyper and forgot to do her homework, but she was trying so hard to help in the only way she knew how. She'd learned to ask, "Is this a yes day or a quiet day?" before bouncing into my room. She started setting timers for herself so she wouldn't talk too long when I was tired. One evening, about 3 months into treatment, I pulled out a note that said, "Yes to being proud of me anyway." I completely lost it. She was sitting on my bed, and I just grabbed her and hugged her while I ugly cried into her hair. She patted my back and said, "It's okay, Mom. I know you love me even when you're sick." That night, she fell asleep next to me, holding the empty jar. I watched her sleep and realized this kid had been taking care of me in ways I didn't even notice. She'd been regulating herself, managing her impulses, and finding ways to be helpful instead of chaotic, all because she wanted to make things easier for me. I never threw that jar away, even after I finished treatment and got better.